Të dashur miq, selam aleikum wa rahmatullah. Takohemi sot në datën 30 nëntor të vitit 2020. Përpara 2 ditësh, nëse nuk jam gabim, një lajm I tmerrshëm ka ndodhur në lindjen e mesme apo më saktë në Iran. Një nga shkencëtarët kryesor të programit atomik iranian, I quajtur Mohsen Fakhrizade, është sulmuar dhe është vrarë nga një organizatë terroriste. Media të ndryshme, analistë të ndryshëm aludojnë që vrasja e këtij shkencëtari iranian, e cila është një nga shumë vrasje që kanë ndodhur në vitet e fundit, është produkt I qeverisë fashiste të Benjamin Netanyahut në Izrael dhe I organizatës së mujahidinëve iranian që ne strehojmë këtu në Shqipëri. Tani, në një kohë që ne muslimanët e Ballkanit na fusin në përburgje, na arrestojnë dhe na ndalojnë për gjën më të vogël, ju vetë e dini se çfarë ndodhi me mua pak javë më herët, kur bëra një peticion për Imam Genci Ballon, ku I kërkonim qeverisë Rama që të ndalonte persekutimin që po I bënte imamit në fjalë, unë dhe shumë besimtarë të tjerë u shoqëruan nëpër rajonet e policisë. Që në qershor të këtij viti 2020, ne kemi një besimtar musliman nga Shiaku me emrin Bardhi Guza apo përndryshe Eduard Guza, I cili mbahet në paraburgim vetëm se në vitin 2017, nëse nuk jam gabim, ai ka postuar një video në internet ku disa ushtar izraelit vrisnin palestinezët dhe sipër kësaj video ka shkruar nëse do të bësh një të mirë për botën, vrit një çifut. Vetëm për këtë fjali, besimtari Bardhi Guza mbahet në qeli, është ndarë nga familja e vet dhe kuptohet që prokuroria e Durrësit që e ka marrë çështjen e Bardhi Guzës në shqyrtim, prokurori I cili e kishte emrin Ilir Turja, nëse nuk jam gabim, nga që ka frikë nga amerikanët dhe nga betingu dhe nga që për rastin e Bardhi Guzës ka interes të drejt për drejt nga ambasada izraelite, I ka hequr lirin këtij besimtari musliman shqiptar në akuzën e terrorizmit. Ne dim se çfarë bëri Izraeli në Shqipëri në vitin 2016, gjatë ndeshjes së futbollit ndërmjet Shqipërisë dhe Izraelit, se si ata shpikën, sikur shqiptarët musliman me urdhër nga Lavdri Muhaxheri dhe ISIS-i do vrisnin lojtarët e regjimit fashist të Izraelit që do vinin të luanin futboll në Shqipëri. Koha tregoi që këta ishin të pafajshëm, megjithatë ne kemi parë brutalitetin e egër të regjimit laik katolik të rilindjes të Edi Ramës në emrin e luftës kundër terrorizmit kur vjen puna tek muslimanët shqiptar. Por, dërsa me muslimanët shqiptar, regjimi Rama tregohet fashist dhe bën çfarë do lloj gjëje që t'i bëj qefin amerikanëve dhe izraelitëve, kur vjen puna tek një organizatë terroriste që ne strehojmë në vendin tonë, mujahidinët iranian, e cila sipas të dhënave të Instatit në kampin e saj të Manzës mund të ketë deri në 7.000 jihadist që I strehon, vendi nuk bën asnjë gjë. Ja pra, kjo është situata ku jemi sot. 2 ditë më herët, nëse jam gabim, një nga shkencëtarët kryesor të Iranit është vrarë dhe qeveria iraniane akuzon Izraelin dhe organizatën e MEK-ut apo mujahidinëve iranian për këtë vrasje. Sot me ne kemi një personazh shumë interesant me të cilin unë do të flas në anglisht. Emri I tij është Mohsen Fakhrizade, më falë, emri i tij është Yakub Meraji, dhe Jakubi ka qenë një nga përkthyesit e Maryam Rajavit apo Maryam Rajavit, kësaj kryetares së kultit terrorist mujahidinëve iranian që ne strehojmë në Shqipëri. Zoti Yakub Meraji përpara disa ditësh ka shkuar në rajonet e policisë franceze dhe ka kallëzuar, domethënë, organizatën e MEK-ut për krimet që ajo bën në Francë. Që të mësoj më shumë se çfarë është MEK-u, a ka gisht MEK-u në vrasjen e Mohsen Fakhrizades dhe gjëra të tjera të tilla, unë do të bisedoj me zotin Yakub Meraji në anglisht. Mr. Meraji, welcome to my show. I just introduced you to the Albanian public. So we will continue our conversation in English. Now, before we start conversation, I would beg you if you can go into the center of the camera, because yes, that's it. So if you can stay there, because Skype cuts our interview, and we have to be in the center in order for both of you to appear. Now, first of all, I want to know for the public, who are you, and if you can tell us something about yourself.
Well, first of all, I say hello to Albanian people, who they are probably Muslim. And and about me, I was born in 1959 in Iran, and since 36 years, I am politic refugee in France. And at 1986, has ordered the leadership of Mujahideen MEK to need the soldiers to go to the front to Iraq, fighting with Iranian regime. I left France and I left my studies in the university and went to Iraq. I was there about 7 years and I came back. I told them I don't want going on with you because your aim and your objective is not the same as you promised to the people, Iranian people. So I left them in 1993. And I came back to France and going on my studies. So I couldn't left them because they were all time in the contact with me. They called me every time, every day, how I am, for avoiding me to go to Iran. So I told them I'm a politic refugee, I cannot go. So I continue to sympathize with them from then to 2018, April 2018. Oh, so many things. They are not an opponent group. They became as a Freemasonry and Illuminati group, as a cult, very closed, and all the slogan they give is just for showing them they are Democrat. It's not true. Everybody know that. So in Iraq, unfortunately, we, as Saddam Hussein, ancient Iraqi president, asked us to protect the north of Iraq, the Kurd region. I participate to the military operation, which name is Morvarid, Emerald. No, I'm sorry, Pearl. So we killed several Kurdish people in offensive, and it was an illegal war against them.
In which year was this?
It's the first world, first. It was
Iraq-American
no
War
first American attacks to
in Iraq.
Gold Persic.
So
It
in
was 92, 91, 92.
So you have taken part together with MEK on attacking the Kurdish people, right?
It's exactly, yeah.
Did MEK kill many Kurds?
I personally, no, not me. I was tank driver, so I didn't kill anybody. But I saw, and I have many friends of mine in the MEK who killed the Iraqi Kurd.
Why did they kill the Iraqi Kurds? What did the Kurds do to MEK?
Because Saddam Hussein asked us.
Because MEK was a mercenary for Saddam Hussein, right?
Private army to Saddam Hussein.
Do you have any estimate how many Kurdish people did MEK kill in Iraq?
As the statistic who gave us the Masoud Rajavi, 1,200 people, Kurd people, has been killed at this moment.
So they were killed by MEK?
Yeah, unfortunately.
Now, MEK here in Albania, since their massive coming in 2016, Maryam Rajavi claims she likes to call herself the president-elect of the National Council of Resistance, and she pretends to be the future president of Iran, and she pretends to be a Democrat. However, from what we know and what you are telling to us, they have their hands full with blood. Moreover, here in Albania, we have something between 3,000 to 7,000 MEK Mujahideen, according to the Institute of Statistics that we have in Albania. As of 2019, their number should be 7,000. But we are never sure because MEK is a very secretive organization. Now, what we know, because we have many defectors who are here in Tirana, the capital of Albania, MEK uses torture, psychological torture, brainwashing, imprisoning, and some people claim that they even kill their members. Are these things true from your experience with MEK?
Of course, as I as I told you, this MEK doesn't have open the statue right now. They became a cult, an Illuminati group, closed, and the politic branches of this MEK, CNRI, Council National of Resistance Iran, just this is a vitrine for showing that we are Democrat. Which democracy? What democracy did in Europe and in Occidental countries? What's their bilan? What's their project? They just she can have this dream forever. No people know Mujahideen in Iran, and no people doesn't want them.
I know that they are hated, and here in Albania, I know from the defectors who have managed to escape from the camp, there is a revolt inside the Ashraf 3 camp in Durrës, Albania. Many Mujahideens want to escape, but unfortunately, the Albanian government collaborates with MEK. So if you are a MEK soldier in Albania and you want to defect, you want to abandon jihad, the Albanian government is going to make your life horrible. Unlike in France, where you have a political asylum, you are a refugee, you have the right to have your own home, you have the right to marry, you have a right to love, you have the right to contact your family, you have the right to earn your living through work. In Albania, that is very hard. Uh, we have around 40 MEK defectors here in Tirana who live in the area of Fresco, which is close to where I am now. And these people, Albanian government doesn't give them work permits. They don't have passports, they don't have travel documents. And many MEK soldiers, which at present are inside the Ashraf 3 camp, many of them who want to get out of the camp and gain their freedom, they are threatened, number one, by Maryam Rajavi and her military command. They can be imprisoned inside the camp. Number two is that they are brainwashed. They are told that if you go to the free world, Iran is going to kill you. And the other thing is that what MEK does against everybody who talks against them, start from BBC to Channel 4 to Al Jazeera to Albanian medias and televisions to journalists like me and many other journalists who investigate MEK here. MEK goes after you. Thanks God they cannot kill us because we have some kind of a legal system here in Albania, which will be difficult for Maryam Rajavi and her gang to kill us. But they do character assassination. So they go against everybody who criticize them, and they call them Iranian agents, serviles of the Iranian regime, puppets, any kind of name. Probably you have been victim of this yourself, but the situation of MEK soldiers here is really scary. I mean, we are in the middle of Europe. Albania is not in Africa, is not in Antarctica. We are 1 hour by plane to Rome. Rome is closer to Tirana than to Paris. And here, in the center of Europe, we have a jihadi terrorist organization which keeps hostages inside its camp. You have been with MEK. Can you tell us what the hell is going on with this organization?
MEK, the first I say United States has a big program and very good program for all opponent military groups as MEK. This program name is DDR, disarmament, the organization, and reintegration.
All right.
So, whatever the MEK does, the member cannot remain forever in Ashraf 3 camp in Albania and Dores. It's a program. It's a United States program, and the United States has promised them to take them out of Iraq safely in the condition just they ignore the military army or military groups, and they accepted to put the arms in obligation, not voluntary. So the nature of this MEK is the terrorism, based on terrorism. In the beginning of the Iranian Revolution, in the 1982 to 1990, this organization has attacked and has killed 17,000 of Iranian people, which for Imam, with the terrorist section, very, very horrible, as we say that kamikaze for Imam. And I think ISIS has learned this method of terrorism from MEK.
All right. Mr. Yakub, I've heard that in the past weeks you have sued MEK in a local French police station for money laundering. Can you tell us what is the truth of it? But before responding, I would beg you again to move yourself a bit to the center of the camera. Just to stay there. So can you tell us what is the charge that you have issued against MEK with the French police?
Last Monday, I went to police station and put a complaint letter against this organization, MEK, who are abusing the French confidence and French possibility as food products, anything else, who they don't have any right, because this MEK is very rich. The money from Saddam Hussein and now from Saudi Arabia will be enough for them for paying to Bolton, John Bolton, Rudy Giuliani, and the other parliament member, European Parliament member, or American senator. So I told them anything that I knew about this MEK.
So what are they doing? Are they stealing the French state? What are they doing there?
The organization, when they were majority in France, 2 years ago when Maryam Rajavi was here, and all organizations practically, they needed to have the food products and anything else for logistic, and one branch of this organization, which name is AVDH, Association of Defending about the Victim of Violation, has a statue as democratic situation, a democratic statue. It was not true. For abusing the French subvention to the NGO in France, they could have many more food products incorrect, and it's not real.
Where were they stealing these foods from?
In the association, which name is Phoenix and Alimentary Bank.
So what they were doing with this food? Where were they sending this food?
They conserve the alimentary and to send some parts of these food products sent to Albania.
Oh, really?
Tref3, yes, and most of them to use for the rest of the member who remained in France.
Now we have seen in the past months Maryam Rajavi staying in Albania. We have heard rumors that she's not allowed to enter the European Union again. Is it true? What is going on with her?
It's true. It's true, because French government doesn't know Maryam Rajavi and MEK as a group. They know them individually, politic refugee in France, not a group, not organized. They are not allowed to have a military base or military base in France. So before 2 years, when the MEK member in Albania started to leave the organization, Maryam Rajavi had decided personally to come support the member. And for this reason, French government told, now you are in Albania, it's better that you remain remain there and stay there. You don't come back. You are not allowed to come back to France.
Wow. This is big news and sad news for us in Albania, because since the coming of MEK in our country, they have created so much troubles. They have destroyed the peace and tranquility of our country. They're breaking the laws. I have even challenged Maryam Rajavi and the Mujahideen command to a debate, but they're afraid to come and face me. They only insult me, and they lie against me and every other journalist. And what they're doing here in Albania is that they're breaking the penal code of Albania. According to the penal code of Albania, if you make calls for jihad, if you make calls for war against a foreign country, like in France, you are declared a terrorist. And it is the duty of our police to come and arrest you and send you to jail, and you'll be sentenced for terrorism. We have people here in Albania who are in jails since 6 months, only because they wrote in their Facebook. There is a guy called Bardi Guza. He wrote that he was commenting a video where Israeli soldiers kill Palestinians, and he was saying, if you want to save the world, go and kill Jew. Only for this, he's in jail as a terrorist, only for writing this on Facebook.
Yeah.
But on the other hand, we have this 7,000 strong Mujahideen army here in Albania. Every day they tweet against a foreign country, which is Iran. They brainwash their people. They train them, and they call for doing a war against a foreign country. And what happens here in Albania? Our government, who takes orders from the Trump administration, is afraid to implement the law. So we have every day a crime being committed by this organization. In 2018, my wife, who is a lawyer, she was a lawyer for a Canadian family, the Mohammadi family. This family have their daughter, Sumaya Mohammadi, kept as a slave by the Maryam Rajavi group inside the camp of Manza since probably 30 years or 20 years, something. And when this family came to Albania, MEK did not allow this girl to get out of the camp and meet her family. So it was an open hostage situation. And our government was ordered by the Americans not to do anything about it. So my question to you is, as a person who lives in France, in the heart of the European Union, I would like to know what does the French government or European society think about MEK? Do they know what MEK does in Albania?
Whatever MEK do, they have the statute of terrorism group. They cannot change. They remain a terrorist group. And the democracy show meeting, it's not proved that they are Democrat. Which democracy? And you know, to call the terrorist action in each country, from each country, it's not allowed as United States or European countries law. It's strictly not allowed to attack the center of Iranian regime in Iran. The law interdict that. The law is not allowed. And I assure you and the other people, the MEK, for avoiding to collapse of groups, they need to show that we exist. We exist again. We are alive. And for survival reason, we must do everything as we can to collaborate with Iranian enemy as Arabi Saudi, as Mossad, Israel, and the Trump government. And I heard that Maryam Rajavi has congratulated the second election, Donald Trump, just in 6 November 2020. She was, I think she was between the first people has congratulated Donald Trump.
Yes, they are Trumpists even here in Albania when many Albanian journalists go and to interview them, and they want to expose to the Albanian public what a weird and dangerous cult MEK is, the answer of MEK commanders who scare our journalists here, but even politicians tell them, look, we are with Trump. Trump is our leader, so if you mess with us, then you'll have problem with Trump. And in a way, they're not wrong because Rudy Giuliani and John Bolton were their main supporters. Now, I have a question for you, sir. You have been a translator for MEK for many years, I presume, and you have been translating even for Maryam Rajavi, if I'm not wrong. Now, I have a question. Today, the Secretary of the National Council of Security of Iran, Ali Shamkhani, has accused Israel and MEK for the killing of the Iranian scientist Mohsen Fakhrizade. What do you think? Is MEK really involved in this killing?
First, I say I was not Maryam Rajavi's translator. She has the translator, so I'm not. But I was translator for the other member, and about this terrorist action against Mohsen Fakhrizade, the professor of the nuclear Iranian nuclear scientific. So I heard that 12 people were present in action, in terrorist action, and 50 others suffered these 12 first plane attack. And the method of this attack seems the Mujahideen MEK attacks in Iranian and a 98 former of attack. And I think with this investigation, Iranian intelligence service will discover if the MEK has participated in this terrorist attack. I think it will be end of the existence the Ashraf tree in Albania, because the law doesn't give them authorization to do the terrorist action when you have refugee statue in Europe countries.
I hope so. Sir, by our investigation here in Albania, we have found out that MEK is in a business of producing a lot of fake news. For example, in March 2018, here in Albania, we had a big congress for the history of Imam Ali. This congress was organized by the Bektashi Muslim community of Albania. And the Bektashi community had invited journalists and historians and scholars from all over the world, from United States up to Kazakhstan. And among others, the Bektashi community had invited even 2 Iraqi journalists from Germany. They were German citizens. And there were even 2 journalists from Iran, I think IRIB, state television. Mm-hmm. Now, what happened was that MEK, who was very mad with good relations that the Bektashi Muslim community and the government in general was having with Iran, they produced a fake news. They claimed that in Albania, 2 Iranian terrorists have come who want to kill the Mujahideens. These journalists who were part of the big delegation and who stayed in Albania around 1 week, and their visas were given by our foreign ministry and Albanian embassy in Istanbul, on orders of MEK and probably Israeli embassy here in Tirana, were detained, were questioned. They were found to be innocent. They had only cameras and what journalists have. And then they left. They went back to their home country, to Iran. However, MEK created a fake news by claiming that Albania has arrested 2 Iranian terrorists. This fake news was later on taken by Fox News. It went viral. And MEK has produced so many fake news by claiming that Iran sent 2 terrorists. First, they claimed they wanted to kill us. Second, MEK claimed they had a car bomb. They wanted to kill us. And then in another version, they wrote 2 Iranian terrorists had a truck bomb trying to kill the Mujahideens. Me and other journalists who have investigated this story, we have shown and proved to the world that these people were nothing. They were simply journalists. Because if they were to be terrorists, the Albanian government would have arrested them and jailed them as terrorists. Now, after this fake news, in June 2018, we have another incident in Belgium, where one Iranian diplomat, his name, if I'm not wrong, was Assadollah Assadi, and another guy called Emir Sardoni were arrested, and they are, if I'm not wrong, until now being kept in jail in Belgium as terrorists. Do you know anything more about them?
About this subject, I know Amir Sardoni, who was, as many other sympathizants, came to France. I saw him 3 times when I was with the organization in Zairian base. So he came regularly, and he was driving the food and the other food products to the different base of MEK in Over-sur-Oise and the other city. So I think for catching the intention who or which the organization has been a victim of terrorist attacks from Iran, I think it's not true. It's just the fake news, as you say. You say it's very good. It's fake news. We had the same fake news in the for celebrating the New Year's, Iranian New Year's, diffused by the MEK that Maryam Rajavi is dead. And for having the attention of the Iranian people, they could have any supporter in Facebook and Twitter and the other media, social media, for this fake news that Maryam. It was not true. And I think for showing them, MEK is very strong and very have many support and has many enemy. They make this story that Iranian attack terrorists would kill Maryam Rajavi and thousands of the Mujahideen supporters in Villepinte. I think it's not true.
They produce this fake news I mean, you are aware of the Operation Gladio that CIA had in Europe during the Cold War, where they were always producing fake news in order to accuse the Soviet Union of terrorism. And I think that even nowadays, one of the ways how MEK is being used is in a way to demonize Iran and to produce fake news and to try to portray Iran as a terrorist country in Europe, and in order to, scare the Europeans from Iran. In February of 2020, I was in Geneva at the United Nations lobbying for, we were part of a group of journalists dealing with issues of human rights. And when I entered at the UN, I saw many MEK members entering and going out of the UN. Now, to enter inside the United Nations and to do lobbying and other stuff is very difficult, even to enter in the offices of the European Union. But we see MEK in all these institutions. How do they manage to enter in the UN and in the EU offices? They're a terrorist group. Who lets them in?
When you don't have the support of Iranian people, you have to catch the European or United States supporters, because MEK doesn't have any place in Iran. So since long time, since 40 years. 40 years ago, they left Iran and nobody knows them. And for showing to the, I told you, for collapsing, for avoiding the collapsing of this organization, they need to show them strong with the fake news, with the center of the emote of to Iran. It's all are the fake. They make the action in Ashraf Tree as in Ashraf in Iraq, or Liberty in Iraq. The action is not, all of them is the fake. And they need to show, to multiply the participant to 10 to 20 more than exist. For instance, for example, when the people came to Vilpant, maximum, the big salon, its name is the Salon 5, number 5, who contained 5,000 plays. They counted 100,000 plays. Mm-hmm. And more of them, the foreign people, just in the front of the podium, 1,000 or 2,000 of Mujahideen supporters sit for applauding the speaker. All the fake news come from here to show they have 120,000 execution. It's not true. They could count just 12,000, not more.
Mr. Meraji, Mr. Yakub, we have in Albania, probably because our government does not allow us to know their exact number, we probably have around 7,000 mujahideens. Now, apart from the defectors, the people whom MEK find, and we have many of these defectors that MEK has jailed them in Albanian prisons. People like Ehsan Bidi and others, they push Albanian government to do anything they can to destroy the lives of people like you who abandon jihad. Now, when it comes to these 7,000 people that are here, what we know from many mujahideens is that they receive around 500 euros per month. So if you have 7,000 mujahideens, it means MEK has a budget, minimal budget of 3.5 million euros per month, only for maintaining their army. Now the question is, who gives them this money? Where do they get this money? It is a huge sum of money.
When we were in Iraq, all the money charge, and all products came from Saddam Hussein government, who was very rich, very important and very rich, with the petrodollar, and they could invest in some duty-free shop in the airport. I heard that they have many shop in Malaysia. They have invested anywhere else, and now they can count on the Arabi Saudi, and the majority, but no, right now the majority the money support come from Arabi Saudi.
It is a huge money. In Saudi Arabia, there are people who die for food, and it shows that the Saudi government spends so much money to keep these terrorists with money, right?
Of course, is that because they have down their promise to kill, if they can, to kill Iranian regime government in Iran, and outside Iran they can make the action as Villepin, as now Paris is not allowed in Albania to invite many people. Probably they give the money to some people of the Albania government to participate to their congratulation celebration, the Nowruz, and each other year they celebrate of 30 June.
No, our Albanian politicians, when they go to MEK events, they go for free because Mujahideen commanders promise to our corrupt politicians, tell them we're going to talk with Rudy Giuliani and Bolton for you, and we're going to make visas for you to enter the United States, because we have many politicians in Albania, many MPs who have their visa denied to enter the United States. Mm-hmm. So Maryam Rajavi, in a way, uses the Trump administration to corrupt our local officials and to tell them, look, I am the lady of Rudy Giuliani, John Bolton, and Trump. So if you want to enter the United States, you must support me on my jihadist war against Iran. Mr. Yakub, thank you very much for coming on my show. If there is something else that you want to say before we close, you can say it now.
No, that's okay. I thank you, and I hope you successful road to probably to across the problem with MEK.
MEK is a big problem for us. We only hope and pray that the Biden administration, if they make a new nuclear agreement with Iran, they will force Albania to de-radicalize them, to give human rights to the soldiers of Maryam Rajavi, and to force this terrorist old witch to close her jihadi organization here in Albania and to integrate in the Albanian society. As of now, they are a big danger for our country. Our prime minister, president, all politicians, they are afraid of them because they are organized military organization here. And by the way, we have more mujahideens in Albania than we have soldiers. So, I mean, if Albania was to make a war with MEK, they will probably defeat us because they have more trained soldiers than we have soldiers in our country. It is really a crazy situation here, and it is really unfortunate that the European public, the European Union, does not speak loud and clear and to demand from Albania to denounce this organization and to force it to abandon terrorism and jihad. Thank you very much indeed, and hope to have you again on my show.
Thanks of you. As I say you, and last thing, whatever they do, they are terrorists. They have the blood on their hands.
Yes.
They cannot clean it that.
Yes.
Never.
Yes. Thank you very much, sir.
Have a good night. Thank you.
Good night. Bye-bye.